up, guys? Baker here. Boom. Okay, where did I leave off? Yes, we had this little intro thingy, and a couple things I want to clean up a little bit. Let's see here. Position. I'm gonna have this wiggle a little bit. So even though there's keyframes, just go ahead and click Alt still, and we're just gonna wiggle this 5, 5. That'll be pretty nice. Also, for the rotation, if you bring up the rotation, we're going to wiggle that as well. Wiggle, parentheses, 3, 1. And so that'll just get us a little bit random wiggle as it's moving around and we're zooming in and stuff. Now you will notice that they are black edges, so to get rid of that, search up motion tile. Yay! So this needs to be after your Twixtor. Could be before your box blurt if you want, but after your Twixtor, and just put it to like, I don't know, 105. 105 should be good, and mirror the edges, and that'll just kind of clean up the black edges if there are any. All right, so that's cool. Really quick into the screen. Just want to animate on the text. So just, again, search up decoder, fade in on the dome, on the DAR. If you push U, come on, there you go. You can see the keyframes, just kind of scoot these in, you know, just randomize it. Come on, push U, there we go. Let's put these up. Oh, I didn't want to do that for the song. Whoops. So just go ahead and undo that. What I wanted it was the DAR. The DAR and the dome. DAR dome. Anyways, the other ones I'll just fade on the song, teleportation, so push T for opacity, and the @ sign too. You can do that. And just fade all these on. These shouldn't be too hard to do. Just simple fade, opacity, fade. And so keyframe from 0 up to 100, and I'll just basically turn everything on, and those kind of type on and stuff. So shouldn't be too bad. Back to this. So that's all motion track. That should be fine. What I want to do is the intro. So we had the box blur, and it's slow motion for a little while with the Twixtor. And what I'm going to do, actually, is after a little while, let's see here. After a little while, bring the Twixtor speed back up. Let's bring it to, I think I used 1,000, so it goes really fast. So go really fast, not 100. What am I doing? 1,000. So I'll be like really fast, and right around here when it ends, we'll just leave it. But when it's going around about here, I want to zoom into him. So scale and position keyframe, and move forward a little bit, and scale it up a lot, and kind of scoot this in the middle. So it's kind of like it's you know, slow motion swinging, and it goes really fast. It'll kind of maybe scoot these keyframes back like that. So it goes fast, and it zooms into him, kind of like that. And that's where it's going to transition into the main clip. And let's see if I need anything else. No, that's pretty good for that. Alright, so let's go into the edit comp. And we got a bunch of stuff already. Let's rename this audio amplitude for data for flashing. Alright, and I think we need to duplicate it. And yeah, so duplicate it, and we'll rename this data for scale. Alright? Alright. So flashing, let's do that first. So new adjustment layer. Rename it to flashing. And we'll go ahead into the data for flashing, look at the graph editor. All this should be, you know, you've done this before, hopefully. If not, I've got tutorials on it. I'm gonna do this. Let me check out my flashing really quick because I think I used something different actually. Flashing. So I use some levels. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna go from about 20 up to 30. So expression time, linear, value, 20, 30, 0, 100. Alright. So, again, I have tutorials on this if you want to go check it out. I go into pretty in-depth stuff. But for the flashing, this is going to be a little bit different. But we're going to have some levels. Bink. And we're going to make it brighter. Maybe a little bit darker, just a tiny bit. But here's the trick. If you notice, let's see if you can notice. In the example, the flashes, it gets pretty crazy. I don't know if you can really see it, but the flashes actually change the colors. Come on. Look at that. See, it's got weird colors. And pretty cool stuff. What I'm going to do, search in hue and saturation on the flashing. Now let's zoom out here on the comp to see our whole stuff. And I'm just going to go, I don't know, way in the beginning, set a keyframe for the channel range, and go to the very end, and just rotate the master hue, I don't know, like 30 times. So what that will do is just kind of see how it's making weird colors. Pretty cool. Of course, it's going to be flashing, so it shouldn't be too intense all the time. So push T for opacity, Alt-click the stopwatch, link it up to the data for flashing slider. Boom! Quad! Boom! Alright, how about some color correction? Adjustment layer, color correction. And I put this above my flashing because if you do the hue and saturation after your color correction, it will actually look kind of weird. But I'm using Looks, Magic Bullet Looks, and I used a preset. This is in our Duel Magic Bullet color correction pack. I have this for download too, and I think I just used this one. Adonis's Rock Screamo, even though this is kind of dubstep drum and bass, I thought it looked pretty cool. And if you look, let's try to find a flashing part. Yeah, it looks kind of cool. Got some random color flashes. You can probably make the levels a little bit brighter too, if you want. Random, craziness. What am I even talking about? Let's go into the clip and Twixter it when he shoots. So add some Twixter, fix the frame rate, and let's go in here and let's turn off the color correction and the flashing for now. So I'm going to go ahead a couple frames, and I like it when he's reloading right here. So right there. So keyframe the speed, move forward maybe a few frames, and let me just check the speed I used, 1%. So like I've said before, I never like to use Twixter over maybe 3-4%. This 1% really looks nice. Alright, so that's cool and all. How about the scale? So the data for scale, if I go ahead and look into that, look at the slider. So I want this to be just on the high parts. I don't want it to be like all crazy down there. So I'm going to go from about maybe 25 to 30. We'll try it for right now. So we'll go in here, type linear, value, comma, 25, 30, comma, and then the output is going to be the actual size for the scale. So normally it's going to be 100 instead of 0, right? Because that's for the adjustment layer opacity. So normally we want it to be 100, and then on the beats we want it to be maybe 105. Alright, so a little bit different expression. Shouldn't be too crazy. But here's the tricky part. So on the clip, we're going to push S. Now for scale, it needs two parameters, the X and Y scale, because you can scale it up this way or you can scale it up, that way. So if I just kind of reset these, the expression's a little bit tricky, but shouldn't be too hard. We're going to Alt-click, and we're going to assign a variable. we're going to say temp, so temporary. So temp equals, and then we're going to pick whip to the data for scale slider, the one we just made, and then semicolon. So we just made, so nothing should change. And then what we're going to do is type bracket temp, comma, temp. So what that does is it takes the number here, puts it into temp, and then uses temp, comma, temp as the two values, because you have to have two. And then so it should scale up to the beat as well. See that kind of popping up like that? Boom, 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 boom. Pretty sweet. All right, so we got the color correction, we got the flashing. Boom, 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 boom. All right, and the Twixtor. How about the explosion? What I did for the explosion is I wanted it to be Twixtored with the gunshot as well. So to do that, I went into the actual clip. Remember this with the motion tile? And then I brought in the explosion right here. But what I need to do is actually right-click Interpret Footage Main, and then just fix the frame rate up a little bit. Just change it to 29.97. Should be fine. Square pixels, that's all good. Alright, so turn that off. So here's the fun part. When he shoots and gets the kill, so this is kind of confusing. Let me just turn it off, this motion tile. When he shoots, I think it's right here. No, next one. Boom. Alright, so I'm going to make a new solid. So again, I've kind of done an exact example like this where an explosion is behind a building. It's called track mats. Go ahead and look that up. But basically, we're going to make our own track mat with some masks and stuff. So select your pen tool, select the layer, and just kind of draw a rough outline of the back buildings. Just kind of rough it out, just like that. Boom. Oops. Connected. There we go. I think it connected. Did it? Probably. So push MM and select the keyframe for the mask path. And we're just going to, hold on, fit. And we're going to move forward a little bit. And we're going to double click and just slide it to there. Make sure it's pretty close to tracking the back thingies. And double click again and just fix it. So these automatic keyframes should be pretty nice. And just go every, what is this, 5 to 10 frames and make a new keyframe. Double click and move this into position. I mean, of course you can adjust, you know, the exact keyframes, but I want to make this pretty fast. And that looks good. Alright, so the explosion here. Let's scoot this over. Come on, there we go. So the transfer mode, I actually used it on normal because if you set it to add, it gets too bright with the color correction I used. So I set it to normal, but I made it blue, and how I did that was a hue and saturation. And then I actually just used colorize. So the number was like 217-ish, and saturation all the way up to 100. So it's a nice blue, pretty sweet. So I'm gonna go in here right when he shoots, right there. I'm gonna scoot this over so it's just exploding, and we're gonna set the track mat to alpha inverted. So what that does is it's back behind there. Now we're gonna roughly motion track this with some hand keyframes. So let's see here. First, let's the size is pretty nice. Okay, so push P for position, keyframe, and you can't really see it, but just kind of move forward. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be Twixtored, so you won't really see it anyway. But just kind of move it into place, kind of, so it's like, you know what I'm talking about, right? Just kind of put it in there. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore, but just leave it for now. It'll be fine. Scoot that down. Scoot this down. Scoot that down. Oh my, getting the text. Getting the text stain. So that's fine for now. Now it's pretty sharp, so we're going to go into the track mat and feather it a little bit, so maybe 25 pixels. And yeah, that looks fine. Alright, so back into the edit comp. It should be automatically exploding and stuff, and it freezes with the Twixtor and stuff. That's cool. And that's about it for that. Let's see what else. Oh, the little charge up effect. This was pretty cool. Actually, let's do the intro. So bring out that intro. Remember, the intro was just the motion track, and then we have the Twixtor and the box blur, and it slowed down. All right, so we're gonna bring that to the edit comp. So intro. Just bring that right above the clip. Slide this over. And let's go and find the part where it cuts right there and trim it. Slide it over. Let's find a part in this clip. So he's waiting at the screen and he starts running, so I'm just going to move that over to that spot. So a rough idea of what we got here is it's really laggy and pixelated. Interesting. I got so many effects. Alright, so that's going, and then, yeah. So, whoa. I think I noticed a flash in here. I changed the color to green or something. Purple. I don't want that yet, so you can just trim the flashing because that had the hue and saturation. Just change that or trim it to the actual clip over here, so that won't affect it. All right, so that's fine. How about let's go into that charge up effect. Let me just check. 2 minutes. Ooh, that's gonna be tough. All right, how about let's do this. Let's do the inverting colors. So if you noticed here, it's not just black flashes or anything. It's actually inverting. So that's pretty cool. Now we're gonna make a adjustment layer. We'll call this the invert, and put it below the flashing and the CC and everything. And close these up. So the invert, we're going to search up invert. Boom. Alright, so it inverts. Alright, so how do we get it to flash every other frame? Because we don't want to keyframe that. Well, here's what we're going to do. Make a new solid. We'll call this the invert matte. Put it right above the invert. And we're going to search up strobe light. Boom. Now what strobe light does, if I solo it, it just flashes on and off. And what we need this to do is actually makes layer transparent. So it's alpha and black. So that's cool. And we're going to need to make this really fast. So strobe duration is 0.02, no, 0.01, and then the period is 0.02. So this is roughly going to be every other frame in 29 frames per second, which you'll see on YouTube. Any faster and you won't be able to see it. So what we're going to do is actually just take the invert and then use the alpha matte. So it'll just flash inverted every other frame. And I want this to start when the little drum roll thingy on the song starts. So LL until it pops up. So just by looking at it, I do believe it starts right here. So maybe here. So just go and trim the invert adjustment layer. So go ahead and trim that. So let's do a quick RAM preview just to see if it's timed up right and how it's looking. Is this pretty fun, you guys? I hope I'm not boring you. I mean, I'm trying my best to make it pretty cool. OCE walkthrough, breakdown, and whatnot. Yeah, a bunch of cool stuff in here. Trying to figure out what else I need to go over next in order. But I'm going to stop this after this RAM preview is done, because I'm up to 20 minutes already. Yep. So I think that should be fine. Let's go ahead and just look. Okay, that's good for now. Until then, I'll see you guys next time, but go ahead and like the video and leave a comment of how cool this is and how much fun you're having. Because I'm having fun, as long as you're having fun, but I'm going to have fun anyway. So, yeah, okay. I'll see you guys later. Peace.